Let's talk Women Talk.
Hi, I'm Sher-Li. Today I'm going to talk about the different kinds of diversity that you face in the workforce, in particular the generational diversity challenge that a lot of people might face when they are working in a team. Generational diversity is an interesting one because it's really regardless of gender. And it's regardless of culture or race or nationality. You find that across the board, really in different parts of the world, what's happening is in the workplace, whatever the workplace may be, you are starting to see different generations all working together in the same workplace. So when you have people from different generations coming together in a workplace, you find that there are different work ethics, there are different work values, and that means there's a lot of potential for conflict, a lot of potential for misunderstanding as well. So in my generation, for example, Gen X, we see work as being something very significant, and we tend to separate work and life. But with the younger generation of millennial, where they grew up with technology being so much a part of their life, you find that when they come into the workforce, they start to see the merge between work and life. So when you have these kind of so-called different expectations of how work should be, you end up having a lot of problems because obviously one party will say, I expect to be contacted 24 hours, 24/7, and another party will say, this is not how I work. The truth is, a lot of people bring to the table their own idea of what work is, their own values, their own work priorities, their perception of what work is to them. Just because they're different, it doesn't make them less of a good employee or less of a good worker. At the end of the day, you're trying to find that common ground. Once you have that common ground, and we all do because we're human beings, there's always something similar, right? Once you have the common ground, it's a lot easier for the communication to happen. So I say, it's very important to really zoom in on what both sides bring to the table. Another thing that we also suggest is to try not to pigeonhole, because although every generation has their so-called stereotypes, there are also a lot of individuals who don't fall within the stereotypes. So I think it's very important to know that each individual is made up of more things than just the generational diversity piece that we talk about. So for the baby boomers and for the Gen X who tell me, we used to do it this way, I always say, well, the millennials are coming and they will make up pretty much large percentage of the workforce in the next 10 years. So there's a lot of adaptation on our side. But for the millennials coming in, it's the same thing. Trying to empathize and understand why Gen X is, or baby boomers are the way they are, is a large part of how successful you're going to be in your career. This is a skill set that's going to benefit you in the long run, no matter which generation type you are. So I think it's really about both sides adapting, suiting, and being willing to change and look outside of the so-called the barriers that we create for ourselves. Yeah.